I did nonsense. I skipped class too, but I don't do that here. But no stealing, no stealing.
Yoni Aguamas is 16, so is Zayed Al-Qad.
I caused a lot of trouble in my other school, and I did drugs, problems, that sort of thing.
Zayed, the youngest of 13 kids born to Bedouin parents, is a friend of Yoni's. They met at Mer Shveya boarding school in northern Israel, where they both live and study.
We have 12,000 Israeli kids who still go to residential education because it proves itself.
That's 12,000 kids across Israel, and all up, there's about 70 boarding schools in the country, but each school has its own styles. Some might be more or less remedial, academic, religious, sporty, or musical.
Where I grew up, you could hear from my accent, in New England in the United States. Then people went to boarding schools, residential schools, where my husband actually went to school, and their parents were looking for elite education.
While you still get the same elite education in Israel, the system is unlike the Western world.
Our children do not come from royalty. The children who are here are looking for excellent education, but they come from mostly difficult backgrounds.
And there's more reasons why some other kids board here.
We also have students who come here because although they don't have a difficult life story or their family isn't poor, but their neighborhood's not the best.
And there's children like Ella who fall in neither category. Instead, they're part of a special Israeli program called Na'aleh.
I flew to Israel without my parents, but I have relatives here in the country. I chose to be a Na'aleh student and study here because I think the education here is better than in Russia.
Ninth grader Lihi comes from a middle-class Israeli family. She could have chosen any other school.
Because I wanted to go to a special education, like a higher education program called Mufet, which basically means physics in 7th grade.
Now operating for 100 years since 1923, Mer Shveya has seen all kinds of cases.
When the young people were running away from Hitler, we provided a home for them. And just recently, we were the first youth village in the country to receive a group of kids running away from Ukraine in the war.
The school's head teacher is pretty confident that without this system, the future might not be as rosy.
And we know that a lot of children would end up on the streets and have worse fates than they should.
While the students both systems cater for differ, the Western and Israeli systems still share similar goals: an immersive educational experience, social education, and readying students for that next step, making both so much more than just live in schools.